I was lying on the floor alone in my room, and I was doing something I was ashamed of telling my friends. I was practicing being bored. I was in my own world and I was looking at the ceiling. You can call me a psychopath for that, but that's not the point of this story. I was lying there awake and I was looking at the ceiling and I was just thinking of random thoughts that I would get. And something strange was happening to me. My eyes were closing. And as I was falling asleep slowly, I was thinking about a dream I had or something. I jump and I'm back in the real world. I was scared. It was midday. I was not sleep deprived, yet I was falling asleep. I had no problems. I was never falling asleep at that time. It was close to my bedtime, yet I was falling asleep. So I changed my position. I moved to the side or something. And again, I'm in my own world and I'm just focusing on one point, on one dot. The same thing happens. I'm starting to fall asleep. When I snapped out of it, I got a huge realization that helped me improve my sleep by twice as much. Imagine sleeping twice as better, bro. Falling asleep twice as better, twice as fast. Because, bro, I want to tell you something. We've been lied to our whole lives. You don't fall asleep by meditating 2,000 hours a day before bed. I literally looked online on tips to fall asleep faster, and this is what came up. Have a good sleep routine and sleep hygiene. Relax, unwind, and try meditation to help you sleep. Try mindfulness for sleep. Create the right sleep environment. Do not force sleep and improve sleep through diet and exercise. These are okay tips, but you can do so much better. These are all the tips that peasants are doing. You want to be the top 1% man, you need to do 1% things. These are things that everyone is doing, yet everyone has poor sleep. That means there's something wrong with it, right? Like, yeah, of course, doing these things are nice, but I want to tell you something. A rule that goes on with your whole life. There's something called the 80-20 rule, which states that 80% of the rewards come from 20% of the actions. So, for example, if you go to the gym and you do bicep curls, like 20% of the exercises that you do for biceps give you 80% of the muscles. So, for example, if you do 3 sets, that's 20%. But if you do another 5, that's part of the 80% that give you 20% of muscles. So if you do just 3 sets, that's part of the 20%, you get 80% of the benefits. Well, you can use that to sleep as well. All those tips are part of the 80% that give you 20% of benefits. But there are two things that are part of the 20% that give you 80% of benefits when it comes to falling asleep. Having a routine is nice. Having meditation before bed is nice. Journaling before bed is, of course, nice. Having a good sleep routine is nice. But you might ask me, how do I know that these things are part of the 80%? I lived through it. Let me tell you, almost all of my life, I struggled with sleep, bro. I would look online on tips how to fall asleep faster, and I was in bed at 2 a.m. looking at my phone on YouTube, looking at videos telling me to fall asleep. I was literally looking online at videos on how to fall asleep faster, how to sleep better at 2 a.m., bro. I was literally clueless about everything. So I would try the tips for 2 or 3 days. I wouldn't see much progress and I would quit and I would go back to my old habits. You shouldn't live like that. So your best bet is just focusing on the 20% that give you the 80% of the benefits. And there are two things that I want to tell you that I found work amazingly well. The first one is to make the room colder. I don't want to bore you with all the details about how your body falls asleep, how you sleep, how do this and this. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that in order for your body to fall asleep, it needs to cool down. If you try to fall asleep into a room where it's hot, it's hard for your body to fall asleep because it needs to cool down. It's hard for your body to cool down. But if you live in a room, if you try to sleep in a room where it's colder, at least a few degrees below like your usual temperature, then your body is like, oh, it's colder, so it's easy to fall asleep. Oh, I need to fall asleep. But that's not the whole situation. You can't get good sleep only with this. Because, bro, I tried for months. When I first heard the advice, it worked amazingly well, but for a few days. Because I just would be in bed, the room would be cold, but I would just turn and turn and I couldn't fall asleep. But when I would eventually find a good position, the room would get hot. And I couldn't fall asleep because the room was hot. So this is not the whole situation. Another thing you need to do is you don't have to move in bed. You have to not move in bed. And don't click off this video yet, because I will teach you at the end how to implement this in your life to not fail. Because bro, I was looking online at all the advice, and none of the guys were telling me practical things to do in order to get good sleep. But I will teach you at the end how to do it. I told you the story where I was bored, right? I was laying on my back and I was looking at the ceiling and I was just not moving because I didn't have to, right? And I was just looking at the ceiling and I would just fall asleep. I wasn't supposed to be asleep. I wasn't tired. I wasn't sleep deprived, but my body was falling asleep. I wish I could just draw you a graph, but when you try to fall asleep, imagine you find the perfect position. Your sleep tiredness goes up, goes up, goes up. But imagine you just move one limb, you move a bit, all the tiredness goes down. You again, you find like you stay in that position, your tiredness goes up, as it goes up, and it needs to achieve this level in order to fall asleep, in order for your body to fall asleep. But guess what? You move again, and it goes back down. Oh, let's say you try another position. Oh, it goes up, 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 up. Oh, you're so close to falling asleep. Move. You move your head again, and you never get to this point where you fall asleep. Every single night your body is so close to falling asleep, but you think, oh, what if I move my position to find a better position? And you move, and the tiredness is gone. Ever since I found that secret, when I was bored, I tried it every single night since then, and I was mindful of my sleep tiredness when I would just try to fall asleep, and I would just lay in one single position, just paying attention to my body, paying attention to my sleepiness levels. And as soon as I would just consciously move my head like this, I would instantly feel my levels like going down, level of tiredness going down. I would just be in the perfect position with my head like this, and I would just do this one thing, and I would just lose all of my sleep, all of my tiredness. One move, and you just resetted your streak of falling asleep. I want to ask you, when you were little, has this ever happened to you? Where you were in your bed and you heard like some strange noise and you thought it was the monster under your bed. Wouldn't you like hide under the covers and not move for him to think that you're asleep? Wouldn't you get the best sleep then? Because this is exactly what was happening to me. I remember exactly one night when I was awake, when I wasn't supposed to be awake. It was 2 a.m. and I had school the next day, and I was just scrolling on TikTok, mindlessly doing like just scrolling on TikTok. And as I was lying in bed, I just hear a super loud pop. It was my bottle next to me, my plastic water bottle that popped. Bro, I got so fucking scared. I literally froze. I was shivering. I slowly closed the app. I put like the phone near my bed, and I just remained like this, like literally shivering, bro. I was fucking shitting my pants, and I was just sitting like this, not even daring to move. Like I literally, as soon as I heard the pop, I closed my eyes and I lived like I literally stayed like that. I closed my phone with my eyes closed. I put my phone near my bed with my eyes closed, and I was just like this, not even moving, bro. I fell asleep almost instantly. Yeah, you might say, yeah, it was 2 a.m. and you were really tired. Bro, I was usually going to bed at 2 a.m. and I was like, it was taking me a few minutes, a few good minutes to fall asleep. That time, as soon as I stayed like this, not even daring to move, instant knockout. What if the monster sees that I'm still awake if I move? And I just stay like that. If you don't move while you try to fall asleep, you will not be awake. Because a person that's asleep doesn't move, right? So this is the framework you need to follow if you want to fall asleep in a few minutes, bro. The first thing you have to do, you could even write it down. Open the window 1 hour before bed. If you have a window, of course you have a window in your room. Open it to the maximum before bed and leave your door open to like let air flow. Right now it's winter for most people, so this is like the best time to do it because in summer you don't have much cool air outside, but in the winter it's like perfect because it's cold outside. So leave the window open for an hour at least to get air flowing. Now when you get in bed, like before you get to bed, close the window and find like a good position, either on your stomach, on your side, or on your back. I found that back works the best because you tend to not move that much. When I lay on my stomach, yeah, it's a bit more comfortable, but I usually move a lot more. So if you're on your back, like you're just sitting there like that. So try to do it on your back. But if you just can't do it on your back, try your stomach or your side. They also work. Now, this is an important step. Put your feet and your hands outside of your blanket. Get them outside of your blanket, literally. If you stay with your feet and your legs inside of your blanket, it will be hard for your body to fall asleep because inside of your blanket it's hot. But as I told you, your body needs to cool down. And the best way to cool down your body is through extremities: hands, feet, and head, like face. If the face, the hands, and the feet are uncovered, they're exposed to cold air, your body will sense that, oh, it's colder, and it will use that, like the air, to fall asleep, like to cool down the body to fall asleep. On the days where I just sit with my legs and my hands under my blanket, I fall asleep in 3 times as much, 3 times as long. And in the days where I just literally with my hands outside and my feet outside, instant knockout. And don't overlook this, because I used to overlook this almost all of the time, and I was just failing to fall asleep. And eventually, when I would want to fall asleep and I would just get tired of being awake, it was just too warm in the room, and I just couldn't. And it would take me even more time to fall asleep. So be with your hands and your legs outside of your blanket. Now find a comfortable position. You're laying on your back, you're looking at the ceiling, and try to move a bit. The more you move, like in the beginning, the better. So the faster you find that the position you're in, it's a bit uncomfortable, instantly move it and just try to sit with it. Because how you are while you're trying to fall asleep, that's how you will stay while you're asleep. So imagine falling asleep in an uncomfortable position and having a limb go numb. It wouldn't be nice, right? Find a comfortable position, and if you find it just a bit slightly uncomfortable, try to tweak it as fast as possible. But don't switch like your position non-stop, because you won't be able to build up that tiredness, right? When you find an okay position, stick with it. The more you stick with it, the more sleepiness you will have, the faster you will fall asleep. And then with my mind, I tried to focus on a dream I had. Try to put your mind into dreamland. If you are thinking about the real world, about the homework you had, or the party you will go to next day, you won't fall asleep. Your body will feel excitement, it will feel awake, and you won't fall asleep. Try to think of a dream you had. If you didn't have a dream, try to imagine yourself in like a beautiful land with tons of trees and horses. Just imagine yourself in like dreamland. Your body will like fall asleep to that. Try to find what works for you. By following this, you will fall asleep in literally minutes. It's simple, right? But I have a question for you. A really important question. How much do you value sleep? How bad do you want good sleep? Because you know the benefits. There are infinite, like literally infinite benefits to sleeping good and infinite downsides to sleeping bad. You know the benefits, like being more productive, making more muscles, like being more motivated, not feeling tired. These are only off the top of my head, but there's a list of billions. And what about the downsides? By sleeping poor, you will get Alzheimer's, you will get tons of diseases, you will be more likely to literally be ill. You can die earlier by not sleeping well. The performance goes down, your will to live goes down. Sleep is the most fundamental thing that you need to improve, because with poor sleep, you have a poor life, you have a shitty life. You can't become successful with poor sleep. You can't be successful in your habit tracker, doing all of your self-improvement habits without good sleep. Imagine trying to meditate, you sitting on your chair, putting the meditation session, and you're literally falling asleep as you're trying to be present. That's not a good way to live, right? That's why I decided to coach people about sleep. As I told you, I find sleep extremely valuable. Like the most fundamental thing every human needs to do. Like every single human, every single animal, every single plant needs to do sleep, needs to sleep, bro. This is the most important thing from your life. And a coach is the best way to improve your life, improve something in your life. Imagine like all the great emperors of Rome and like Greece. They all had mentors. They all had someone to teach them directly. That's why I want you to click the first link in the description. You book a free call with me. Free, no strings attached. Where we go on a call and we talk. And I see if you're a good fit for my coaching program. Bro, I'm be totally real. If I think your sleep is too good for me, If I think like I can't help you, I won't take your money. We literally get on a call. We talk about your sleep, your problems. We see how bad your sleep is. I see how bad your sleep is. And I try to see if I could help you and if I couldn't. Because if I could, I would love to do it. I would love to see so many more people having good sleep because I know how it is to have poor sleep. I know how it is to go throughout your whole life and feeling like there's more to it, but you just can't. Going to school and trying to pay attention to the teacher, but your head is literally falling down and you just have to sleep. Trying to pay attention to your friends while they're talking, but you're just looking at them and your mind is thinking constantly about sleep. Trying to do work, but you can't because you didn't sleep right last night. Click the first link in the description, bro. Trust me, you wouldn't want to miss out on this. Why would you? It's a free call and we just talk. We talk about sleep. And if I can help you, I will. If I can't, I won't. Simple. I won't take your money for nothing. So click the first link in the description to book a call, bro. I would love to see you there. See you later. Mwah. I was lying on the floor, Oro. I was flat.